Alright folks, now you probably already know all about the BZ-75. It has rocket boosters, but it's not the fastest to rev up. Has only 30 km/h top speed with about 12.5 horsepower per ton ratio. So what happens when you mix the rocket boosters with 20 more km/h top speed and 4 more horsepower per ton ratio without any of the drawbacks like subpar accuracy, aim time, low DPM, or one additional tumor in the middle of the turret? You practically get a copy of a WZ-111-5A, except you have rocket boosters. That's what this vehicle is. The BZ-72-1 Special Tier 10 Chinese rocket heavy tank. It has rocket boosters, but it's actually fast. It's even faster to rev than the WZ-111-5A. That is scary. This thing will chase down medium tanks. It can even chase down light tanks with rocket boosters. So still the tumors for the commander and the loader cupola, but it's still smaller than the BZ-75 with the thing in the middle, the gun elevation port or access room. So this vehicle is actually fast, but it has the punching power of the 130, the same DPM as the Object 277, so not as much as the 5A, but still better than the BZ-75. The hull front kinda looks like an IS-4 trapezoidal rhombus shape, so bouncing a little bit more shells on the cheeks right here. If you kinda side scrape, I think it's slope upwards and backwards, but turret kinda reminds me of the Object 590, except a little bit bigger. So round in the front, but elongated in the bustle in the back. It is not an autoloader, otherwise kind of crazy, but still you could fit a rammer on this thing. It is kind of scary to think about. What you really want out of a rocket heavy tank is actual mobility, not a mouse with rockets like the Tiger mouse. With rocket boosters on the, actually that's a siege mode on the Russian server. Going off topic, but the hull armor is 140, well sloped, has side skirts, it is rounded, it is sloped, it will bounce a lot of shots. The turret is alright. It's like with the 5A, you don't expect to bounce that much at close range, so you utilize your DPM on the 5A, but it's obviously weaker than the WZ-116F3. If this thing would have that turret, I think this thing would be unstoppable. That thing is almost impenetrable at the front, except the weak spot is the gun. They lowered the DPM to sub 2000. God damn it. This vehicle is not that bad, so don't get too aggressive, but still, you could be very aggressive towards medium tanks or even light tanks for that matter. This thing has the mobility. It has better horsepower per ton ratio than the 5A, which is scary to say the least. And rocket boosters to boot. Why not? Alright, let's take a look at the main stats. 130mm, so 560 alpha, packs a punch. Standard is about 490 on Russian guns, so packs a little bit more punch. Shell velocity is alright, 1000 meters per second for AP, and close enough for high explosive anti-tank. And high explosive is high explosive, but reload time is not bad for that alpha. DPM on this vehicle is about the same as a 277, so slower reload, but you have a little bit more alpha than the 277's 130mm. Accuracy aim time is not bad for a large caliber gun of Russian origin, so it's decent enough. 8 degrees of gun depression, 20 elevation, pretty decent. 35 rounds, good enough. 50 km/h top speed. Yeah, that's nuts. Same goes with boosting to 75. Reverse is 15, decent enough, but jumping from 16.7 to 41.7 horsepower per ton ratio. Hull traverse is not bad for heavy. Turret traverse could be better, but it's alright. So 5 charges of the rocket booster, lasting 10 seconds per charge. Okay, health point is about the same as a 277, so breakthrough heavy tank. Hull armor is 140 at the front, 120 at the sides, and it's sloped too, so not half bad at side scraping, especially with side skirts. 260 at the turret front. Cupola weak spots is obvious. 170 for the turret sides, yada yada. 400 meters of view range, not bad, especially for a Chinese or Russian heavy tank. Radio is standard. This thing is fast for some reason. 16.7 without the rocket boosters. This thing has 14.7. It has 2 more horsepower per ton ratio than a 5A with the same top speed. 50 kilometers per hour top speed. Ugh, God. It has rocket boosters to boot. It will ram stuff, like it will really ram stuff. But it weighs about 54 tons, 55 with the equipments. Let's see, how heavy is this thing? 63, alright. This thing weighs more, granted, but it has more health too. Okay. So put improved hardening on this thing, obviously, but in-game garage screenshot of the stats. DPM is 2400, so about the same as a 277. Accuracy aim time with a 100% crew, not half bad. 2.4 seconds, 0.36, workable, decent. 8 degrees of gun depression, likely none in the back. That goes for all Chinese heavy tank, so always use the front to aim downwards, but 14 seconds to reload for that alpha, not bad. 155 compared to 140 at the hull front, interesting. And 350 for the turret front. Some of the armor value is different, so the thickest on the turret is 350. That means you cannot shoot through the cheeks with high explosive anti-tank rounds normally. That's good. That's real good. So just shoot the cupola, obviously. Yeah, the mobility on this thing is scary. It's 16.7 normally. That's close to medium tanks, like E50s. That's pretty goddamn good. And it goes 50 km per hour top speed compared to 30 on the 𝗕𝟑-💽. This is what you wanted out of the 𝗕𝟑-💽. Not a slow lumbering heavy tank. You want a medium tank hunter or main battle tank. Camo is alright. It's heavy tank. And 400 meters of view range. Obviously pretty good. How much is the 𝗕𝟑-💽? 390. It has less camo than this thing? It has less camo than that. Yeah, it's small number value, but interesting enough. Alright. So it has a little bit less health, but a hell of a lot more mobile than a 𝗕𝟑-💽. A hell of a lot more mobile. It is breakthrough. It is not assault. Yeah, this thing is assault heavy tank, not breakthrough. So technicalities, but yeah, this thing is what you really wanted out of rocket heavy tanks, not a slow lumbering beast, right? I mean, granted, you have less module damage with the 130, but still, it has better DPM and better accuracy, better aim time. Might as well, right? Shell velocity is not bad. I mean, it is slow, but it's not dead slow, like 700 or so. It's workable. It's fine. And 35 rounds is fine enough with that alpha, so just don't miss your shots. Really, don't miss your shots. It is tier 10 special. And I doubt this thing for Clan Wars, since we already got the WZ-116F3. But yeah, if we have the 116F3's turret on this thing, it will be superb. Like real amazing. Yeah, 155 the hull front, 350 compared to originally like 260. That's what they said from the initial preview. 260 and 140. So somebody's wrong somewhere, but yeah, it's pretty good. So what would you put on this vehicle equipment wise? Well, I think it's about the same as a 277. So breakthrough heavy tanks, 277s, IS-7s, VZ-55s, and 5As. So obviously rammer. You could put a turbocharger, or you could put improved hardening. Now, improved hardening is useful for tryhards. So normally vents will be sufficient, but if you want more health, this thing will give you a little bit more survivability compared to regular breakthrough heavy tanks. Usually they have about 2,200 or so, or about 2,300 or less. So improved hardening is basically tryhard mode That's what I put on the Super Conqueror. For Onslaught, if you want to try hard, that's a try hard setup. You don't need vertical stabilizing. Use turbocharger, rammer, and improve hardening for your equipments. But regularly, vertical stabilizer will suffice at tier 10. I mean, you're not trying that hard, are you? So vertical stabilizer, vents, and rammer will be fine. You could try turbocharger instead of vertical stabilizer if you're at close range, but you still have the cupola weak spots. Other stuff are just whatever, superfluous. You don't really need it. Yeah, you don't really. Turbocharger or vertical stabilizer. Accuracy is alright. Aim time's already alright. So, good enough. Rammer is a must. You need to have rammer. And as for field modifications, let's do one that I have fully unlocked. If I already have one, this one would suffice. So, first one is more track health or better terrain resistance. Now, if you already have a good vehicle crew with repair train, then you can just basically repair the tracks or repair kit. So I chose with actually better terrain resistance, accuracy, or aim time. Now this vehicle 2.4 is alright. It is already on the cusp of being kinda okay to bad. Bad is about 2.7 to about 3. Very good is 2.2 and under. So this is at the cusp, at the fence. I would say better accuracy. I mean 0.36 is good enough. Just take slightly a little bit longer to get 0.35 or 34 out of it. I would say better accuracy. Better accuracy. Same goes with the VZ55. View range or stun duration. If you're playing Onslaught or if you're playing ranked, there's no artillery. There's no need for stun. Stun is situational. If you hide behind cover, there's no stun, mostly. So go with better view range. You already have decent enough view range. Go with better view range. Mobility wise, aim speed and traverse compared to top speed. Now granted, this thing has already decent top speed. Give it more top speed, it's even better with rocket boosters. So I would say a better top speed. Get into key positions and contest medium tanks. That's what's so important about Onslaught, with heavy tanks contesting medium tanks for key positions. So top speed is kind of important. So I would say top speed. And finally, dispersion while moving or vehicle hit points. Vehicle hit points is not that much with 2%. It's about... It's only about 50 difference. Actually, 70-ish difference or so. 80-ish. It's not that much. If you really want, put improved hardening on the first slot. Give yourself more health, obviously. How much would I rate this vehicle? Holy crap. Now, if this thing will have the turret on a WZ-116 F3, it will be pretty nuts with that mobility. It will be pretty goddamn good. This thing has a small cupola for commander and loader. It's very slim. And the turret front is thick. It's rounded. Same goes with the upper plate. So this armor is pretty good. The only downside to this vehicle is DPM sucks. It's an autoloader. Accuracy, aim time sucks. And time between each shot is kinda long. 5 seconds. So you cannot really burst with this 130. But I mean, I haven't seen any of these recently, surprisingly enough. But imagine a 5A with rocket boosters, practically. 5A is already good enough, right? 5A is pretty decent. This thing has a rocket booster attached to this thing. Now granted, this has a lot of DPM. 5A has 2700 baseline, so you're not out DPMing a 5A, but you have the rocket boosters and you're slightly faster to rev. So there are trade-offs, but yeah, 5A has, I say 5A 2700 compared to your 2400. So 300 less DPM, but this thing is faster to rev. 15.86. I thought it was freaking... I thought it was 14 point something. Never mind. Hidden values of your engine power. Alright. Still, yeah, hidden values. They took another value in their hidden aspects like soft terrain resistance and other stuff, garbage. calculation into the actual factor, but this thing is still faster on paper. 16.7 to rev. How much would I rate this thing? I mean, granted, it's fast. No question about that. It's fast for a heavy tank. It's real fast with rocket boosters. It can go hunting medium tanks and contest light tanks for onslaught. So that is a very big, very important. But then again, can you use these vehicles in onslaught? That's another question. Now for random pub, it's good enough. 5A is already decent. This thing has one more degree of gun depression than 5A. So also has more alpha. What the hell? Yeah, it has more alpha. Not as much DPM, but it punches harder per shot. So it doesn't have to expose yourself for longer periods of time with the DPM. Yeah, this thing is not bad. It's like maybe a 7. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, the only downside to this vehicle is likely the commander cupola and loader cupola weak spots, but view range is not bad, accuracy, aim time not bad, DPM not bad, you have rocket boosters for mobility. It's at least a 7. Only downside is likely health and maybe the weak spots, but then again, you need some weak spots, right, for balancing. I will have to see the actual armor and the sloping on the sides. So it's like the IS-4 sloping. If it's thick, then probably not that bad. But sometimes when you're side scraping in the IS-4, exposing this cheek, some people like a Yak Panzer E100 spamming high explosive anti-tank round into this area right here, and that's an ammo rack. So we have to see the actual module health of the ammo rack and actually the armor profile, but for now, at least a 7, maybe 7.5. Is it as good as the pre-nerf WZ-116 F3? Ooh, that thing has armor. That thing really has armor. Originally, that thing has like 2,300 DPM. They nerfed it by 400 with worse accuracy and aim time or something. But at least a 7. 7 to 7.5. I think it's scary, mostly because of the mobility. I like the 5A. 5A reminds me of a super aggressive playstyle. Imagine a platoon of 3 of these. They're fast, they can rocket boost to actually get into key positions with 3 130mm that has 8 degrees of gun depression. And DPM is alright, so I think it's good. I mean, you already see a lot of rental BZ-75 with Onslaught. This will easily overtake the BZ-75 for Onslaught. At least 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10. Debatable. So for now, BZ-72-1, practically anything or everything you wanted out of a rocket heavy tank, and then some, practically. So none of the BZ-75 BS with subpar accuracy and aim time and low DPM. None of that. So at least a 7 out of 10. Well, there you go, folks. The BZ-72-1. So as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.